Thank you for joining us, Trojans. Today, we just really hope to be able to give you many insights as to why LinkedIn is very important for all of us to be using. And so we'll just wait shortly for our presenters to join us, and then we'll get started. Thank you. Looks like Samika is joining us. Great. Welcome, Samika.
Hello.
How are you? How are you?
Good.
Good, good. We're just waiting for Ryan to join us.
Yes, definitely.
Great.
I think he's trying to get into the.
Okay. So looking at I thought he was able to get in. Oh, there he is. All right.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Ryan.
Hi. I think I may be logged in the wrong way because I'm logged in as an attendee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, do I need to?
I just changed you to a host.
Yeah. Turn him into a host.
I just did that.
All right, let me see if I can do anything else here because I can't share my window, can't share my screen.
Okay, now that should be fixed.
Nope, I don't see it. You guys sent me another link. Do you want me to log out and log back in with that other link and see if I can join in a different way?
Sure, you can try doing that. Just try sharing your screen one more time. I think it should. Wait, one.
I just don't have any. I got none of those functions, unfortunately. Sorry, I'm in the.
Okay. Did that work? I think that worked.
All right.
There you are. How are you, Ryan?
Good. I wasn't sweating that at all. No,
not at all. No biggie. We're all used to this by now, right?
Hey, I work for a tech company. That doesn't mean I know technology.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining, both of you. Thank you so much because I know all of our students are very eager to learn everything about LinkedIn. So if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce each one of you so that students know who's joining us in this webinar. So joining us is Ryan Cervacos. He is an SC alum, Marshall SC alum actually. And so he actually works with colleges and universities. It's his mission to make sure that every student knows how to and why utilizing LinkedIn is very important to create their own brand, professional brand. And he also is making his goal to making sure that as he works through LinkedIn, he's going to live and breathe the ethos of LinkedIn and dream big and have fun in the process. And so joining us also is Samika. She is a senior actually also from our school, and she's a Marshall student. And she's actually running the Marshall social media and is president of Troy Labs, and has been working for LinkedIn over the summer, making sure as well that all students are aware of this awesome system that all of us definitely need to use and really take advantage of. So without further ado, I'll just let you guys take over.
Yeah, of course. I'm super, super excited to share LinkedIn Learning, and I think Ryan can go about his whole spiel, and then after that, I can moderate some questions that a lot of students have been asking me in the past couple of days.
Awesome.
Perfect. You want me to jump into it?
Definitely. Go for it.
All right, I'm going to share my screen real quickly. I'm going to start with a quick slide deck overview of just framing what LinkedIn is. Then I'm going to jump into LinkedIn, and I really want to, hopefully you guys will have questions and we can make this engaging. You guys are seeing my, my screen, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's start with the vision of LinkedIn. I think this is really important. What LinkedIn is trying to do is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. Now, the whole idea behind creating economic opportunity is really what I want to do is change your perception, what you may have of LinkedIn, which is that of a resume repository or a professional network that you go to when you need a job, or a job board. LinkedIn is a social media platform. It's really designed to use social media in a way to help you get where you want to go with your career. Not only help you, but maybe help others. So that's what we talk about when we're talking about creating economic opportunity. We're talking about your job opportunity, your internship opportunity, but also the ability for you to help or inadvertently help others get that economic opportunity as well. Now, there are a couple of things I want to cover with regard to our stats, where we are right now. We're at about 690 million members worldwide. We're adding at a rate of about 3 new members per second, which is kind of bananas. We've got, crazy growth. Now, one of the differences between us, one of the main differences between us and a lot of other social media platforms, is that we do our best to eliminate fake profiles. We do our best to eliminate people that are trying to be nefarious and using the platform for things that they shouldn't be. So that raises the bar to entry. Makes things a little bit more difficult sometimes, but in the long run, what it does is it creates accountability within our platform. I'm not going to say we're perfect, but I will tell you we're striving for perfection. We're striving to eliminate harassment and bullying, and you can only do that if you have accountability built in. Even with that, we're still growing at a rate of 3 new members per second. Now, many people think that LinkedIn is capitalizing off of our members and make most of our money off of our members through premium. We don't. Only 3% of our members pay us any money. 97% don't pay us anything. Everything we're going to show you today, including LinkedIn Learning, is complimentary. It's free. LinkedIn Learning is free for you because it's through USC, but everything I'm going to show you today on LinkedIn doesn't cost anything. So where do we get most of our revenue? Well, it comes from recruiters. It comes from corporate America. We charge them. They pay us to find you guys. 90% of corporate recruiters are using LinkedIn. 100% of Fortune 500 companies are using LinkedIn to find you guys. So if you're not on LinkedIn, you're missing the opportunity to be part of this network. That's really where you're going to get find the best, or give yourself the best possibility to get where you want to go in your career. We have millions of senior level influencers and millions upon millions of decision makers, people that are in the position, that have a position, right? In the position to make a decision. That's where you want to be. So we want to talk about this whole ecosystem and how it works. So this is the last slide I'm going to cover. Then I'm going to jump into LinkedIn for a little bit, talk a little bit about LinkedIn Learning, and really, hopefully, if you guys have any questions, we can answer those on the fly. So if you are like me and you have a short attention span, hopefully you will remember this slide, all right? This is the ecosystem. If you do these 4 things I'm going to talk about today, this will transform your experience on LinkedIn. So the first thing you got to do is establish a profile. More than likely, if you're on this call, you have a LinkedIn profile, right? But that's what everybody's doing. Those are just the table stakes. That's the beginning. I want you to think about your profile as an opportunity to establish your brand. It is not a resume, all right? Now you can upload your resume to it and you can put resume information on there as you should, but you really need to focus on who you are as a person and where you want to go in your career and articulating that value proposition. That's what you can do on LinkedIn. You can't do it on a resume. So I want you to think about it that way, and we'll show you some profiles. The second thing you need to do is you need to grow your network. Networking is the key to opportunity, right? You guys have probably heard that a million times. I'm sure you've heard it's not just what you know, it's who you know. Now, what LinkedIn allows you to do, it allows you to scale that by growing your network. Growing your network in a way that you can do on a social media platform that you can't do that on any other type of mechanism, right? That's the whole thing of social media, is using a network. But this network is designed to do one thing. It's trying to help you make money. So growing your network. Now, the third thing that you need to do, which is what only about 0.5% of LinkedIn members do, is thought leadership. And thought leadership is content. Posting your own content, posting your own thought leadership, or engaging in the feed. Now, this is going to turbocharge everything. This is going to make the difference for you on LinkedIn. If you've taken the time to create a profile, you've taken the time to grow your network, how do you get your network to work for you? The way you get your network to work for you is by posting content, by commenting on other people's posts, by sharing other people's posts, right? You guys are all familiar with social media. You know how it works. You're on TikTok, or you're on, well, TikTok may be a little different. You're on Insta, and they make a comment, and the influencers try to get you to engage in their feed, right? The more you engage in the feed, the more their post goes viral and the more people see it. That's what you want to do on LinkedIn, except you're doing it with business in mind, with your career in mind. If you do these three things, you're going to kill it on LinkedIn. There's one last thing I want to talk about, which is learning. This idea of continual learning. Now, LinkedIn Learning, which you have access to as students on campus, was formerly lynda.com. Lynda.com was a company that had online video tutorials. Now, the reason LinkedIn acquired lynda.com about 5 years ago was because they saw this gap in what LinkedIn could do, right? We have 690 million members. At the time, we had about 400 million members 5 years ago. We had 1 million jobs on the site then. We've got 25 million today. We have 50,000 skills and 30,000 schools. Now we have 60,000 schools. We have all of this information. We know quantifiably, if you're applying for a certain job, we know what skills you need for that job because we have so many of those jobs on there and so many people on LinkedIn that have that job, that tell us what skill they need, what skill they have. But what LinkedIn couldn't do back in the day is they couldn't connect you to that job via skills. That's why they acquired lynda.com, turned it into LinkedIn Learning. So if you think about what LinkedIn's learning purpose is, it's got one purpose, and that is to help you get the skill you need to get the job you want, right? To be more proficient at the job, to differentiate you in the marketplace. If you keep learning, if you're continually growing, you will differentiate yourself and it'll give you more opportunity. So this is what we think of when we're talking about opportunity. You do all four things. This is going to really help you realize your earning potential. And this is what we think of when we talk about creating economic opportunity. So that's my intro. That's it in a nutshell. I would normally drop a mic, but I don't have a mic, so I won't be dropping it anytime soon. Before I move forward, if you guys have do you have any questions about how I've phrased it and what I'm talking about so far?
Yeah, of course, feel free to put it in the chat box or message me, and then I can kind of help moderate to Ryan what our concerns are.
Yeah, and I think we've got a Q&A feature as well, so if you want to pop a question in there as well, that's cool. So while we're waiting for some questions, let me go ahead and reshare my desktop now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into LinkedIn. So you guys should be able to see my desktop again. Yes?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's talk about the first thing we talked about, which is profiles, some profiles of students. So I'm going to start with just showing you some best practices of profiles. Let me start with Tiffany Para. She is a former student. She just recently graduated, but just a couple of things that are of note on a profile to make it different, right? The first thing is the headshot. So many people want to wait for a professional headshot, or USC might provide a professional headshot, which is great. You have access to some of those things through career services. But what we want to make sure you know is that we want to make this attainable, right? If we want to create a platform for everyone, well, not everybody has access to professional photography, but just about everybody has access to a mobile phone, right? So you can take a selfie and just crop out your head and put it on LinkedIn. You're good to go. I mean, if you've got a newer iPhone, you can do a portrait mode, man, and be good to go. So I want you guys to think that it's a little bit I want to lower the bar so it's a more attainable. The background photo is important as well. This is an area for you to brand yourself, to give yourself an opportunity to show a little bit more about your personality and where you want to go in your career. So I just thinking about the profile as a brand as opposed to just a resume. So I've got a first question, and the question is, should we be concerned about security, since it seems the more we add, the better? Very good question. Now, when you're thinking of security, obviously LinkedIn is going to do everything in our power to keep your information secure, right? We are a top tech company. We're owned by Microsoft, so you can rest assured that your information is secure. You can also rest assured that we are not selling your information. Absolutely not. We do not do that. Now, when you think about LinkedIn, it's a little bit different than other platforms in that the whole point of being on LinkedIn is so the people see you, like the people see your profile, right? If Samika is on LinkedIn and she wants a job, she wants people to see all of her information. So you want to put your information out there. And I think that's one of the things that LinkedIn has built into it, is this idea of accountability. Like, you need to put correct information out there that people are going to see, but there are going to be people that don't want that information out there and that want to be a little bit more private. And there is one security measure I do think you all should take, and I'm going to walk you through it right now. So a couple of things when it comes to security and data privacy. The first thing is we have a ton of options. So click on me, go into settings and privacy. Underneath settings and privacy, you can change a lot of privacy settings, and you can change your visibility settings. So if you wanted to turn off your public profile and edit your public profile and reduce what people can see, you can do that, right? If you want to see who's downloaded your email address, you want to turn that off. So I would recommend for everyone, to go into the privacy settings and make sure that the privacy settings are where you want them to be. All right. We do care about your data. We do care about your privacy. As far as sign-in security, this is the other thing I wanted to talk about real quickly, was this two-step verification. Now, because we eliminate 99% of fake profiles, what do you think nefarious people are trying to do? What they're trying to do is they're trying to hack your account. They want your account. I've had friends of mine that have had their account hacked. I almost had mine hacked, but it was impossible to hack with two-step verification. For those of you that don't know what two-step verification is, what it is you put on two-step verification, and it will ask a secondary question when you log in from a different device or a different network, different IP address. So super easy to do. Add that two-step verification. You can make it an email verification, or you can make it a phone number verification. And once you do that, talk about security, your account's not going to get hacked, and you're going to be, I think, feeling much more comfortable about it.
Yeah, and I think as students, like, you know what you want to post, and you know what, like, private information, like, never share your phone number, never share exactly the location you are right now. It's more about kind of sharing your thoughts and your feelings and your activities and your career. So it's more about knowing what information to post. This is not Instagram. You don't need to, like, post bikini photos or things that are not supposed to be seen by other professionals. So that's another way to kind of go about it, is what would you feel comfortable for every single person to know? And that's how you should start, and then slowly building it upon there.
We also have some questions on the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and open the chat real quick, and let me drag that over so I can answer those questions. I want to follow up on what Samika was saying. Absolutely. I love that. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I didn't even really think of that, Samika. Great point. It's like, post what you want everybody to see, right? And I think that's the whole deal with being completely accountable, is that you want to post stuff that you would be okay with anybody seeing. I love the way you phrase that. Somebody's asking
yeah, I was going to say, I can just read the questions to you so you don't have to keep switching back and forth.
No worries. Let me do this real quickly. What I'm going to do, because one of the questions is, how do you get access to LinkedIn Learning as a USC student? Yes, it's free. Just Google USC LinkedIn Learning and go right here to your library link, and then you can log in with your USC credentials. How do you like that? Boom. And please use it. I'm going to go through a quick demo of LinkedIn Learning as well here in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
What was another question?
It is free for all USC students. That is there. How much detail should we use in our experience description? So that's something that actually I learned from Ryan recently, that our LinkedIn profile is not your resume. And I think the idea that I understood most out of it is you're applying to an internship and they see your resume, and on the top of the resume, I'm sure just like mine, you have your LinkedIn profile. But when they click on your LinkedIn profile, if they see the exact same thing that was on your resume, what was the point of them taking that extra step to get to know a little bit more about you? So I think understanding that made me a lot more confident of like, now if you go to my profile, it's a lot like my resume, but I'm working every day to make the experiences boxes more about like why I chose to work at that specific position, what I really achieved, my thoughts about what this means to me, more than just like concrete numbers that somebody would get using the resume. And so what you can do is, if you are not applying to a job and so they don't have your resume, you can put the bullet points under, but having a little bit more of your personality in the top, more in a written format, is always beneficial to use.
One of the
Absolutely.
questions is, does premium tie you into an appropriate job opportunity?
No, you don't need premium to get tied into the appropriate job opportunity. When you think about what I just said, and LinkedIn wants to be a platform for everybody, and we want to be inclusive of everybody, not everybody can afford premium. So there are certain things that we're going to make that if we're talking about creating opportunity, tying you to a job, it'd be really messed up if we did that only if you paid for premium, right? So absolutely not. We're going to try to align you to the best job with just the regular LinkedIn. Now, again, we're going to tell you where you are in the makeup, and start pushing jobs to you based on your clicks and based on what you do. And our AI, we're continuing to work on our AI to make it better. Let's see. What's the other question here? What is your opinion of accepting sending invitations to people who've never met? You guys are on the ball here. You guys are way ahead of the game. I was going to talk about that in just 1 second, so I will address that. And you know how you guys can address yourself. Let me cover the profile for 1 more minute or 2 more minutes, because it's super important. What I've seen from most profiles from USC students and from every student is a focus on this professionalism and this resume. All right, so I want to take 1 or 2 minutes to just let you know that my opinion is that you have an opportunity on LinkedIn to be more compelling, to be more authentic, to use your authentic voice, right? You're going to USC, you're studying what you're studying, you are talented, you've got the right skills. What does a recruiter not know about you when they're on a resume? When they look at a resume, they don't know who you are as a person. They don't know your personality. They don't know if you're a culture fit. That's what I want you to accomplish, in addition to telling people what your skills are. So you can use this about section to talk about yourself. If you look at Tiffany here, she talks about being a spike ball fanatic, what she likes to do outside of work. I'll show you another one here. I'll show you Evelyn. She's another student. She's a student at USC. And I'll show you her profile, where she talks about what she did when she was 15 to go get a job, and how she was networking, working, you know, going door to door basically to find a job at 15, right? That tells a story. Underneath the featured section, you have the ability to put in additional content. You can record a video of yourself and put it on LinkedIn. To what Samika was saying, you can post your resume on here, taking out the personal private information like your email address and phone number and address, but you can post your resume on here. You can post class projects on here. Think about LinkedIn making it more 3-dimensional. I want you guys to think of LinkedIn as a place for you to have your own voice. Let me show you another person. Jermaine is the person. That slide deck I showed you was actually created by Jermaine. He just graduated from UC Irvine in December. He got his first job at Oracle. First job at Oracle because of all the work he did within LinkedIn. The job came to him. They recruited him. And you can see his background photo, his headshot, and his about section, right? And it talks about what he does at work, outside of work. You can think of it in school and outside of school. So I want you guys to think of LinkedIn as a place for you to brand yourself more than just focusing on your resume and putting it up there like a resume. It's super important to me to let you know that this is much more within reach for you guys and much more authentic. All right, so next thing, I'm going to go to Jennifer's question about connecting, because connecting to opportunity and growing your network is super important. So you guys probably, hopefully, all have seen USC's portal homepage here. It is your USC school page, and it is your connection to alumni, right? We have this alumni tab right here. You've got 297,000 alumni with which you can connect, all right? You can connect with any one of them. We tell you where they live, where they work. We tell you what they do and what they studied. You have the ability to search, drill down into companies that you're interested in. So let's say you're interested in Netflix, right? You can just check out how many USC alum are at Netflix. You got 372. And you can narrow that down and say, let's say you live in the Bay Area. You want to know how many in the Bay Area, and then you can come down here and connect. And to your point, Jennifer, my opinion on accepting or sending invitations to people you've never met is that you should do it. You should do it for sure, right? This is way different than when LinkedIn first started. LinkedIn first started and it was like, you should know who your connection is. And in fact, I think sometimes LinkedIn still prompts you, like, do you know this person? That is really not going to be able to grow your network, right? How many people do you know personally? How many people do I know personally? I've got 5,000 people in my network. Do you think I know every one of them personally? No, I don't. But that network now is big enough where it actually can move the needle for me when I'm using this network the right way. So I think there are two types of connection requests that you do. You always should do strategic connection requests if you can. Being a student at USC, you have so many people that are USC alums that you can grow your network with. But I think you reach out to them and you want to just grow your network, right? So you might want to say something to the effect of, hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm a current student at USC, and I'm just looking to grow my network. Would love for you to join my network. Something super easy like that. Now, I was talking to another student this morning, and he wanted to get a job at Apple, right? Everybody wants to work for FANG. Right? Somebody in the big four up there. Obviously, you guys have a lot of USC alumni. And so he went to a USC alum and did a message saying, I'd like to do an informational interview, and was able to get that connection request. But he also was putting out a lot of connection requests for informational interviews and not getting a response back. And the reason is because that's a pretty heavy lift. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you don't want to ask for informational interviews, but if you're trying to connect and take somebody's time with every single connection that you're doing, that's really not manageable for you or for the number of people you're connecting with. So what I'm saying is that lower the bar, just grow your network organically, right? If you're posting content and somebody wants to connect with you, I would connect with them. The only people I don't connect with are people that are out of the country, in countries that have nothing really to do with me or my career. But for the most part, I connect with everyone. Why? Because my network is going to be give me the most opportunity. When I post content, I want as many people to see it as possible, because when they see it, they might like it or comment on it or share it, and it goes into their network, and so on and so forth. So in order to get the network to work for me, I need a bigger network. So I hope that answers your question. I think you should be able to connect with anybody.
And it goes to the whole,
go ahead, Samika.
I said it goes back to the whole privacy thing. Like, what are you okay sharing with everyone? So if you keep and follow that rule, then growing your networks are actually pretty great. And like I connected with Ryan, and now I have so many people on LinkedIn, like the company that I can connect with, because you need that first-hand, second-hand, third connection, right, in order to get in contact with someone. So I really, really think that that's super, super important. And now being a senior, I've realized that just by me accepting so many students to grow their network, how much impact it's actually created. So I feel like in the beginning, like a lot of people are more willing to help you grow your network, because I started from zero, right? I had to grow my network to 500 followers, and so many people allowed me to do that. So now I kind of have that same value in making sure that other students get that same opportunity that I did. So people are a lot nicer than you think. And if they're not, then it's okay. You move on to the next person and you shake it off.
That's true. Now, remember this too. I want to just point out this real quickly, because everybody's experience is going to be different, right? On social media. If you have an inappropriate experience, right? Remember that because LinkedIn requires real profiles and eliminates fake profiles, it means that I can't just jump on and try and create another profile, right? I can try and create a duplicate profile, but we try and get rid of those. we eliminate harassment and bullying. So if you're concerned about that, you shouldn't be as concerned, because if somebody says something inappropriate, you can just block them and you pretty much will never hear from them again, right? Like, we raise the bar to make to creating profiles, and that way it eliminates, not entirely, but for the most part, that problem. So I just want to let you know that as well. So hopefully they make you feel more comfortable. I got a couple of other questions I want to jump in and answer here real quickly. Is there a way to access unlimited browsing without premium? I guess it depends on the question that you're asking here. Obviously LinkedIn has to monetize something, right? And it depends on what type of browsing you're doing and what type of searching you're doing. I mean, my thought process is that you want to use the platform, and here's what I would do if I were a student. And there are a couple of questions about here, other questions about cold messaging, and I'll weave these two together. You can easily and quickly follow strategic companies, follow strategic people, and reach out and connect with strategic people. To do it 100 people at a time, LinkedIn is not going to want you to do that. You know why? Because we don't want our members being blasted. All right. We just don't want members being blasted. Think about it from the other side. You don't want to have thousands of people hitting you up. You don't need to do that, by the way. You can just grow your network organically. So 3 or 4 a day is plenty. What you really should be doing is focusing on what other people are doing in the feed and commenting on what they do. When you comment on people's feed, you're helping them, because you're making you're sharing their content with people in your network. They're going to notice that, and they might actually reach out to you and connect with you organically. You don't even have to reach out and connect with them. They're connecting with you. I would focus on trying to engage in the feed more than browsing and browsing and browsing. Now, you can do as many job searches as you want, but let me just tell you right now, anytime you're applying online, it is very difficult to get through the number of people that are applying. All right. We had 25 million jobs posted on LinkedIn before COVID, and we had 1.2 billion people applying annually for those jobs, just on LinkedIn. All right. So everything that I'm going to teach you today, and anytime you're talking to me, you obviously have to do the basics of applying from time to time. But my thing is that if you think of it as social media and you actually are going through the feed and following people and engaging in the feed, that's going to be more productive than just browsing and browsing and browsing and trying to connect and connect and connect, right? Not to mention, it's going to make you more of a subject matter expert and make you more of a presence on LinkedIn where people come to you. So I hope that answers your question.
And
Now,
it seems kind of daunting, like especially when Ryan first gave that talk, I was like, okay, like, are they actually going to answer to me, or like how to go about it? It works. I actually met Ryan because I cold messaged him on LinkedIn, and I basically was really interested in LinkedIn Learning, and I didn't know that it was offered for USC students. So that's something that's really why I'm passionate about doing this in the talk, is because I wanted to get LinkedIn Learning, and I thought USC didn't pay for it, and I didn't want to pay every month to learn courses. But by messaging him, coldly asking that question, and led us to talking, which led us to finally being on a Zoom call together, which led to us doing workshops, which led to me being a LinkedIn Learning champion. And all of that happened because I cold messaged him. So I don't think you should ever be afraid. I mean, like, the worst thing that they can do is not respond. And sometimes, like, I even forget like how many people I message. So like if I message Esther and I was just browsing on her profile, like 3 days later, I forget that I even sent her. So I won't even feel bad that she didn't respond. So it's something that you just kind of have to like have thick skin in, and it's like more rewarding than it is whatever the opposite of rewarding is. But yeah, I really encourage you to do that. And as long as you like send messages that are honest, and especially like all these LinkedIn profiles that have like talent acquisition, or they mention that they're a recruiter, they know why you're reaching out to them. So don't try and fake it. Like, you can literally say that you're interested in the company and you just would love to connect with them, and start there. Start with a small step, like Ryan said. Don't straight away ask for your resume to be seen. Don't straight away ask for have an informational interview, because then they're automatically not going to want to even make that connection with you. But if you start small and then you go from there, maybe then you comment on their post, and then it's more like a long-term ladder that you keep climbing until you finally have enough of a small relationship with them that you are able to ask for that favor. So just wanted to kind of give you the student perspective there.
for sure. I love it, Samika. Let me answer a couple quick questions here. Commenting versus likes. right? Likes is the very lowest bar. Likes are great. Likes help the person that you're liking the post because it keeps it up in the feed, and it gets more, it's better for them. Now comments, that takes it to the next level. That makes it stay up in the feed a little bit longer. It's much more powerful, but more importantly, the same student I was talking to this morning, we were looking at the recruiter that he had connected with on LinkedIn, and she had done a post a couple days ago on LinkedIn, and it had 9 likes, 0 comments. Now I told him, and she posted something pretty interesting. I'm like, how powerful would it be if you watched the content that she posted and you made a comment, and you're the only person that comments on her post? That's the difference between a like and a comment. A like, you never see it, right? I mean, it's great. It helps me, but I'm not going to go through and see who's done all my liking my post, but I will be able to easily see who's commented on my post. Plus it pushes it in my feed and in my notifications. It'll say here, hey, Esther commented on your post, or Samaka commented on your post. So comments way more important. The salient features between being premium member and non-premium. Premium is designed for people with 5 years of work experience or more. It's $60 a month. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think you need it. Everything I'm showing you is you can do without premium. Now, a couple of nice things about premium is that it gives you salary insights, but you can get that from glassdoor.com. It gives you access to LinkedIn Learning, but you get that free from USC. So that eliminates half of the benefit of premium. We doubled the price of premium because of LinkedIn Learning. It gives you more direct in-mails. I think it's 5 in-mails a month when you're not connected to people, so that's great. And it gives you a little bit more browsing capability than you would on premium. There are a couple of other things that it does that are nice, but truth be told, I don't think it's worth it, especially for students. I wouldn't necessarily invest in it unless you really want to. Somebody has a LinkedIn Learning account under their Google account, and when you log in and get it from USC, basically the deal is, once you log in from the USC account, it's going to ask you if you want to connect that to your LinkedIn profile. As soon as you connect the USC account to your LinkedIn Learning account, it doesn't matter if you're accessing it through Google or through LinkedIn, you can connect the two together. So anything that you're doing under LinkedIn Learning, when it's connected to your LinkedIn account, will show across. And bottom line is, you will know it's connected when you see this learning icon up here. I have the Sales Navigator tool, so I don't have this, but the learning icon will be there, and then you can access LinkedIn Learning.
Yeah, and the same thing, I had a Gmail account connected to USC, and now I show, like, every time I learn a course, like, I think it's really engaging in your profile to kind of see, like, what skills are you interested in, what skills have you learned. It also makes it really real to a recruiter, because you can say all you want on your resume that, like, I know how to do Photoshop, and everybody says that they know how to do Photoshop. But it's like, if you've, like, actually taken, like, an expert level class in LinkedIn Learning, and it shows, like, wow, okay, you've actually know the knowledge of Photoshop, and it kind of differentiates you from the thousands and thousands of people who have done just on their resume.
There's a question on the chat. If we create organic content, how often do you suggest we post?
So it depends on what you want to do. Here's my philosophy. If you create one post that's yours, right? Like it's a video you record, or you've gone to a workshop and you want to take a picture of the workshop and you want to just, I'll show you a post of Evelyn's to give you a good idea of what a post looks like from a student, right? 1 or 2 of those a week, you're doing more than 99.9% of college students. So that's great. But I also think that you should be sharing other people's posts and reading, like you guys are doing a lot of critical thinking right now. You can go and take any URL. Hang on a second here. Let me move this out of the way. So let me just take, for example, the LA Times, right? Type. What is going on with my computer here? LA Times. So if I want to pull this over, I'm going to pull this URL over, and I'm going to go to my homepage over here. I'm going to start a post. Eventually, when my computer decides to feel like it, and I can paste the LA Times link in here, and then what it does is brings the thumbnail image, and then I can delete this. I can tag people in it. I'm going to tag Samaka in here, and then I'm going to get rid of that, and then maybe do Esther, and I'll tag another person, right? I can use this as I would a normal social media platform. Now, this is not my content, so it's much lower bar. It's much easier for you to do this. So it's not like you have to do one of your own posts every single day, and you're going to get a lot of traction. This is going to keep you in the feed and keep you, you know, just basically make it so that your brand gets out there. There was another question about how can you market yourself, and you know, how do you position yourself on LinkedIn? Look, I think that, you know, being authentic, you don't need to worry about whether your location is San Francisco Bay Area or San Francisco. The way that our algorithms work and the way that LinkedIn Recruiter module works is that it searches everywhere. It can search down to zip code. So if somebody wants to know where you are and find somebody in your zip code, they're going to find somebody in your zip code. It doesn't matter what you put on your profile. So my thing is, you know, put yourself the best foot forward. Use the more information you put on your profile, even if it's not in a bullet point fashion, right? If you were writing a story, telling a narrative of what you've learned, let's say as an athlete, like I talked to a student the other day, you know, a USC student the other day, who was a D1 volleyball player, right? And now her life is different because of things that are going on in her life. That shapes who you are. We all know that it takes a lot to be a D1 athlete. It takes a lot to be, you know, a musician. It takes a lot to be wherever you are in your career. And when you think about that in a narrative, you're going to be using all the right keywords. You don't have to just do keyword after keyword after keyword. People think it's a resume and they put it on LinkedIn like somebody's going to read all that. Nobody's going to read the top of your profile all the way to the bottom. They're not. But because it's fully searchable, the more content you have in there, the more likely they're going to find you and they're going to read the top portion and you want it to be compelling. So that's how I would position myself. The most authentic way, the most realistic way, right? Telling the best story about my life and where I want to go and who I am on the field and off the field. So I hope that answers your question. There is Lilith asked a really good question here about how can I cold message someone who doesn't know me but works in the industry? You know, I have a good answer for that. I mean, Samika, you've done it before. What are your thoughts on it?
So I always try to make it very different. And I think a way I do that is, for example, like I messaged someone actually at Netflix because they reposted something about their company culture that I really resonated with. So I commented on their LinkedIn and then I sent them a message saying like how I was inspired by it and I really liked it. And the cool thing was there was only 4 other comments on the page on the article she had posted. So I know that she had seen my post, my comments. So I think that's really, really exciting to differentiate yourself. Another way that I do that is I always say like, oh, I'm like taking this class and like, I was like chosen to like interview someone and like, I really resonated with your profile. I would love to like do more. Sometimes I just say, I'm a USC student, fight on. And that's all that it needs to kind of grow. You don't have to say like, I want to grow my network. You just say like I'm a Trojan and people get it and do it. So I think there's so many different ways you can go about it and you just kind of have to like learn what works best for you. And once you have your message, it's so easy to replicate it and just kind of keep sending it. And I would do what Ryan said is like go through my feed and see the like people that are really interesting, people that I want to kind of look in. Like right now I've gotten like 17 of you who have asked me to connect to LinkedIn, that you're getting the point. I've accepted all 17 of you. So the rest of you, if you want to send me a LinkedIn invite, I'm not going to say no. It's just kind of like taking that first step and that first action, and start making yourself a little bit uncomfortable. Like, to be honest, I haven't started posting on LinkedIn and I've actually written all my blogs. And right now I am like working towards it to finally gain, like now that I have a series to kind of post it. So it takes different time for everybody else, but I think it's worth doing. And if you take small actions, like asking people to connect, then commenting, which is what I started learning how to do. And then now starting to make your own content. If you do it, not like jump and throw yourself in the water, I think it's a lot easier to do that.
Yep. And I'm not going to take offense to the fact that Samika has 17 connection requests and I've got 2. All right. Not that this is a competition or anything, but what the heck? No, I'm in all seriousness. If you guys want to connect with me, you're more than welcome to connect with me. I'm happy to have you in my network as well.
Yeah, I got 7 more just after I said that.
Oh, nice. I see how it is. Getting back to, you know, the cold messaging, right? you have, when you do, if you want to connect with somebody, let's go over here and we'll just go to Apple, right? And we'll pick up Apple here and we will go into the people tab, and I'm going to find people that are, you know, that have gone to USC. USC should be up here somewhere. USC, right? And I'm going to want to connect with this person, right?
This functions so much. It's like a hidden gem.
Yeah, this is where you guys should be. At least, you know, if you want to grow your network, once a day, trying to do 5 people. You can't do 100 people because LinkedIn will stop you.
And you don't want to. That's a waste of time.
Yeah, but you got 300 characters, right? You don't have a ton. This is where, and this is where, and Esther, I give you my slide deck. So you can Esther can hook you up with the slide deck that I use. Now the slide deck has a couple of like templates that Jermaine used to reach out to people on like a cold invitation. But the invitation can be short and sweet, like Samika said, right? Hey, I'm a fellow Trojan, fight on, would love to join, love to grow my network. Or it can be like, I see your current CMO, like Jermaine Louis reached out to the chief marketing officer for Gymshark, the apparel company in London. He was a senior. The CMO responded to his invitation and joined his network and did an informational interview. So it could be something like, I see your CMO, I've seen content you put on LinkedIn, and I would love to pick your brain. Something short and sweet, but I would always start with, I am a current student. And that is going to help you get them to say yes. So I hope that answers your question. There's one other question I want to address right now, and that is that how do you connect your USC email with your Google email account? So I want to just make sure everybody's aware of this. You don't, the 2 email accounts are not going to connect to each other. You've got LinkedIn Learning are 2 separate platforms. LinkedIn is yours, and it has your email address in it, right? LinkedIn Learning, if you've gone through USC and they're providing it for you, you want to connect that account. You want to connect LinkedIn Learning to LinkedIn. The way you do that is when you first log in, it's going to say, do you want to connect? Now, for the person that's asking the question, and if you haven't connected it to your LinkedIn profile, there's an easy way to do it. Just click on any course, go into the course, and this Q&A
content is brought to you by
sorry, it starts talking to me. This course, every course has a Q&A feature. Click on Q&A, and if you aren't connected, it'll say you need to connect your profile. Click here to connect your profile. And then it'll ask you to log in with your personal LinkedIn credentials. So I hope that answers your question. You don't necessarily need to go to LinkedIn and add your USC email address. You don't have to do that. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to do that. Cool. We've covered a lot of stuff, and it's at 6:45. We've got to the top of the hour, or are we done now? I can't remember how much time we have.
It's still 7.
Till 7. Sweet.
Yeah.
So I want to just touch really quickly on LinkedIn Learning. All of the content that we're talking about and a lot of the stuff we're talking about, you can actually learn on LinkedIn Learning. But this is a fully it's a standalone product. It's a standalone software product that's designed, again, to get you tons of video content. Now you can browse the content here. You can also browse up here, and you can see all the different topic areas that we have. We've got tons of content on software. So if you're having an issue with learning software, you want to learn Teams, you want to learn Zoom, or you are into technology, you want to learn Python. Python is one of the most in-demand skills right now. Crazy, right? Data analytics, data science, we got it. And you can just click on any one of these areas, boom, and it goes right to that topic area, and then you can search that content. You can also search for content up here. So let's say you're interviewing, right? We've got tons of content on interview questions and answers. Like, this is bananas, right? We've got LinkedIn subject matter experts that are going to give you courses on how to answer interview questions in the right way. Answering common interview questions, like even we've got a course for finance or sales. So just think about anything that you're doing. A lot of students are going to YouTube. A lot of times I hear you guys going to different places looking for free content to help you get where you need to go with your studies or with your career. And I just want you guys to think of LinkedIn Learning as that place that's going to help you get there quickly and easily. Now, does LinkedIn, earning a badge on LinkedIn give you an advantage in the eyes of LinkedIn algorithm? No, we're not going to increase it on the algorithm. We're not going to put you guys at the top of the list because you've done a LinkedIn badge. Again, remember equity and inclusion, right? Not everybody can pay for LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning is not free. Now, what LinkedIn Learning will do for you is if you put it on your profile, I'll show you what it looks like. Look at that, it's pretty nice. If you put it on your profile, let me go back here.
I think it's on, you can see it on my profile as well.
So you've got it on yours? Let's go to Samika's.
I also wanted to make a plug-in for interviewing as well with the Career Center. We just adapted a big interview tool as well to help students with their interviewing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we don't want to look, your best bet is to get professional advice from USC Career Services for sure. But right there, you might have met with Esther and her team 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and you're going into an interview tomorrow, right? And you want to brush up on it. Like my point with this and our point with this, and when you think about online learning, the best thing about online learning is that it's there when you need it, how you need it. So that's the deal. We don't want to bypass what you get at USC. You've got so many resources, you definitely want to use them. But this is to supplement those resources.
Yeah,
so this is.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to go on that point. So like, I'm a student who always asks for help, and I love that one-on-one attention. But what I do think is if you go through the LinkedIn Learning courses, like for a resume or interview, you're getting the basic things that everybody should know, right? So like in your resume, like your headers and your experience section, your education section. And then once you have that nailed and you use that video, then you go to Esther and say, how do I make my own resume better? Because that's something LinkedIn Learning can't do. Like it can't read your resume and personalize it to get you that job. But Esther, now that she doesn't have to go through all like the basics, the font, and waste that 30 minutes of time on something that you could have watched a video to do, that's when your 30 minutes are going to be so much more impactful with her to give you the best experience possible.
That's right, Samika.
Is true. That is hit on the head.
Right.
So the LinkedIn certificate of completion shows up under your profile, under license and certifications. And what we're seeing is that it is a little bit of a differentiator. And you can search that. So if a recruiter pays LinkedIn to use our recruiting tool, there is an area for them to search for certifications, and they can search for LinkedIn Learning certifications, of course. So is it going to move you up in the algorithm? No. Is it going to differentiate you? Hell yeah. I mean, let's be honest. If you're graduating and you're graduating with a sea of other people that are graduating at the same time, and you come up in a search result and the other person has, 5 or 6 LinkedIn Learning certifications, that immediately says that person is going above and beyond what they're already learning at USC. So is it a be all end all? No. But is it a difference maker? Absolutely. So I think it's well worth your time. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Alicia has a quick question. Should our about section or summary be similar to the personal statements for college apps or more specific to our major and career? God, it's been a long time since I've done a college application. Samika, what are what's your thought on the college application? I think that's more relevant than a summary, trying to put yourself in a box for every single job that you want to get. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I think it should be like kind of different. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's an all one be all kind of a format. I think it is similar to your personal statement for college. If it's like a story or something that kind of defines who you are. And if that's something that you're really proud of and that's why you put on your college application, feel free to share it with the rest of the world. Yeah. But if you're in USC now, I'm sure you've grown a lot as well since when you started your journey as a Trojan. So maybe it's a different story. Maybe it's something that you have learned from your career or your major that kind of ties it together. So I wouldn't say that there's a perfect answer. And I know that sucks when somebody tells you, oh, it can be whatever you want it to be, but it really can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, and I'll show you a couple more. Real quickly.
My about section, Ryan just helped me with. So I had the same question with that. And so that's kind of what I came with.
Yeah, I mean, yours is obviously great. One of the questions is was, you know, should I put my online courses in my education section? I don't know what you mean by that. LinkedIn Learning courses are not going to go into education section because they're not education. They're certificates. They're not going to go into education, so you can't actually move them up there. The only thing you can put in education is if you're going, you know, you put it in there, you fill it in. So if you're going to an online school, you're taking online courses from USC, but you're obviously at USC, you put that in education. So let's see, what are your thoughts on when LinkedIn invites someone to become part of a pilot initiative for mentoring? Oh my gosh, wow, I would do that. I actually was working with that team. So just to tell you, we are working on a project that is to try to connect students to mentors, and really we're looking for first gen and underrepresented as well. We're really trying to focus on that as well. So man, I would jump on that. You're being asked to be a pilot initiative for a LinkedIn project. That's pretty cool. I'm biased, I work for the company, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd be all over that.
But I didn't get that invite, and that's a little sad.
You didn't get that invite. What is up with that? Let me just show you one other profile here real quickly of another student. And you can see her, her about section, which she talks about what she did in high school and some of the things she did in high school. I really feel like you have an opportunity with LinkedIn to tell your story. And that's, if, you know, to leave you here today, I want you to think about this is an opportunity for you to build your own brand. There is a course on LinkedIn that LinkedIn Learning that I love, and I'm going to show it to you here real quickly. I took it a while ago. And it is called Transforming Your Personal Brand. It is by Goldie Chan. It was just released about a year ago. Amazing course. She's a millennial. She's a thought leader on LinkedIn and other social media platforms. And, you know, she's very, you know, compelling. But my point with all this is that you have an opportunity with LinkedIn, free LinkedIn, not premium, to put yourself in a platform where you can connect to anybody, anywhere that's doing the role that you're doing, and they can get to see the authentic you. When I tell students, like a lot of students want to work for LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an amazing company. I feel super fortunate to work for such a great company, right? And I know a lot of you would be great fits here, but you know what LinkedIn looks for when they're hiring, right? Because we get literally, we had 3,000 job openings last year. We had 1 million people apply. Before COVID, 1 million people apply. What does LinkedIn look for? We look for three things. We look for, do you dream big, do you have fun, and do you get shit done? Like literally that comes from the top. That's not me saying it, that's LinkedIn, right? That's Jeff Weiner, that's our CEO, Ryan Roslansky. We're looking for culture fit. In addition to being able to do the job, what you have the ability to do on LinkedIn is to put yourself out there so that you get that culture fit, so that people see who you are as a person and they gravitate towards you. So I want you guys to think of it that way, and hopefully it'll make it a little bit more comfortable for you to talk about yourself on LinkedIn and to be your authentic self. Nobody expects a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior in college to have 10 years of work experience. You have life experience, you have sports experience, you have volunteer experience. You can talk about that for sure. I got another question here, a course on Udacity. I don't like to talk about Udacity. No, I'm just kidding, man. Just kidding. You want to keep the links in my GitHub projects on my profile page. Certificate sections doesn't have the option to include other information. Oh, I guess that's what you're saying is you want to put it in your education from Udacity. You know, I don't really know what is the best option for you on that one. What I would do under view profile is I'd go under add profile sections and see where you want to put it. Do you want to put it under accomplishments, right? Here are some accomplishments you've done, courses. Like for Udacity, I have friends of mine that work at Udacity. It's the same as LinkedIn Learning. That's not an education. So I don't think you should put Udacity under education. I think it muddies what education is. Udacity and LinkedIn Learning, not USC, never will be. So I think you should put it under your accomplishments of courses here. If you've got projects, put it under your projects. We've got a lot of different sections that people never go to. So you saw how I got there. Go to your Me tab, add profile section, go under accomplishments, because that's where I would put that. That's where I put that stuff, is right there. Boom, okay? Add your course name, course number, and where it's associated, you'll be good to go. Okay, I feel like I've been rapid firing, talking a lot here, so I hope I've answered a lot of your questions. Alicia, how should we phrase our headline, or what should we include? I didn't talk about that. Good question, Alicia. I think your headline should be aspirational. If you look at my headline, I'll just show you my headline. It's, you know, spreading LinkedIn message to anyone who listen. Obviously, everybody on the call knows how I feel right now, right? I want you to think of your headline as an opportunity for you to just do a one line about who you are. Too many people, and don't judge, right? But a lot of people put in there their current job or their current university, or I'm a current student at USC. That's already showing in your profile. I mean, that already shows up in your profile. What am I doing? Clicking on this. It already shows up in your profile. So what I want you to do is I want you to use it aspirationally. You can even put aspiring graphic designer, aspiring entrepreneur, just put it at that, you know. But I do think it should be aspirational. And I do think if you can think creatively about a one-liner that sums up who you are, use that, you know. That's what I think. Will this be uploaded to the YouTube channel? Esther, that's for you. Do you guys have a YouTube channel?
Yes, we'll be definitely adding it also to Connect SC, the portal.
There you go. All right. Samika, anything you want to end with?
Yeah, it's not as scary as it seems, and it gets easier. I'll say that. I think it's a really important tool, and especially during COVID and being locked up and having so much free time in my life, I think like LinkedIn Learning has really helped not only just like learn skills like Python, but just understanding like different ways to like brand yourself. Like there's one really cool one about how to make a video game, and it's just like you can, like instead of losing yourself in YouTube watching Justin Bieber eat hot wings, which is also pretty cool, it's just kind of like using your spare time to learn a little bit more about yourself. And if you explore topics where nobody can really watch you, like if I wanted to do coding and I'm really bad at it, it's a great way to kind of see if I really like it without exposing my want to the rest of the world. So I highly encourage you guys to just spend some time acting like it was YouTube, and maybe that'll help.
Totally agree. For everybody, I put my link to my LinkedIn profile in there. So if you guys want to connect with me, you're more than welcome to. I hope this has been worth the hour of your time. Listen, I'm super passionate about this. I don't have all the answers. What I do know is that, you know, in this day and age, there are certain tools that are going to be available to you that you can control your own destiny. Like I remember when I was your age and I was like, I just want opportunity. I just need a shot. And, you know, applying into a black hole and clicking on apply, that's going to be a grind, and it's a grind that you got to do. But this is a way for you to not make it so much of a grind and make it more of a just something that's in your day to day, right? Maybe take a little bit of time away from Snap or TikTok or Insta and go through your feed. If you spend 10 minutes a day on LinkedIn, you're doing way more than most. That's not a high bar. That's not a high bar. So all of the effort you put in on your profile, that's just once. Once you do that, your profile's done. You're done. Now you can just focus on really just growing your network and posting content and commenting. And that only takes a few minutes a day, right? And then if you want to actually produce some of your own content and showcase some of your own work, maybe a little bit more. So think about that, everybody. Really appreciate your time. And if you guys have any questions, hit me up on LinkedIn. Really appreciate it. Anything else, Esther, before we wrap up?
No, thank you so much to Samika and Ryan. Definitely this information has been a wealth of insights for not just me, but definitely to the students. So this information will definitely be available through Connect SC in our YouTube channel, and definitely will be giving access to the slide deck as well. Thank you so much for your time.
Take care, everybody.
All right, take care. Bye now, everybody. All right.